I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hear me all right? Looks like we're doing okay. Perfect. So I'm going to really try hard to keep this in time, Mia, but I've got so much to cover. Um, well, welcome to my final project. Um, Boom. So in this class, we talked about weapons of math destructions. We read the book Weapons of Math Destructions by Kathy O'Neill, and the objective for today is for me to recognize another weapon of math uh, destruction that is out there in the world, um, waiting to be found by me. I don't know why I said that. Quick definition. So WMDs are mathematical algorithms that supposedly take human traits and quantify them. Now, just saying that out loud, it's like, what? What does that even mean? Moving on. This, as you might expect, results in damaging effects and the perpetuation of bias against certain groups of people. WMDs often are opaque. It means that you may not know that they're going on, or that um, you know what's happening is happening, but it's happening, um, or that you can't really make sense of them. They're unregulated and difficult to contest, and are also scalable. We're going to talk about that in my example, thereby amplifying any inherent biases to affect increasingly larger populations. So, if you don't already know yet, WMDs are just not good for society. Um, they are oftentimes employed, or I should say deployed, uh, to make money by very rich people. Moving on. So I was just like doing research, and I came across this photo. And there was just like zero interpretation, but something hit my mind, and I thought I might include that. My interpretation of this is this person uh, who is living in the modern times, who's looking at a mirror and sees themselves, uh, their traits and qualities, um, um, described in ones and zeros. And the red spots, I don't know. I can't make sense of that. I guess it's like acne. I've got acne, whatever. Um, okay. So examples of WMDs that we covered in class and my WMD. Um, yeah. So I'm going to go over them briefly. We talked about predpol, crime prediction software. We're going to go over the issues of these in just a sec. Validity of news rankings, particularly U.S. News's college rankings, and personality tests. Um, Controversial, efficiency for fairness. I think it's stupid, to be frank. So, what are the commonalities between these? Uh, they target whole communities by creating feedback loops that reinforce existing biases and inequalities. For example, predpol. I don't believe that police departments set quotas anymore, but in the past, actually, not too long ago, I should say that, um, predpol or other similar models, which is deployed everywhere in the US, and I can almost be certain that it goes on in other countries as well. It basically used historic data to say, okay, the likelihood of a crime happening on this block is way more likely than over here on the main street. So, Mr. Cop, why don't you go over there? And they did, and it made tons of arrests, and it created a negative feedback loop for the community who lived there because that's what was going on. Arrests every day. Um, and then, similar to personality tests, I mean, if there's someone who struggles with mental health, I feel like trying to parse them out so that you don't hire them is ridiculous because how are they expected to grow? Um, it's just back and forth and back and forth, and they'll never be able to get a job so long they have such tests. Um, okay. Motorcycle. So how I chose my WMD. So my WMD needed to have a negative feedback loop. It needed to be somewhat opaque. I mean, these are guidelines set by Kathy O'Neill in her book, and I had such a hard time, such a hard time coming up with one, like just like an idea, a topic. Um, so I was like, okay, let's look at recent times. And if that's image to be of any hint to you, you are correct. We are going to be talking about the housing industry, particularly renting. So yeah, we're gonna work from bottom up because that's how I found my topic. Last week, actually, when I logged into the New York Times app to play Wordle and like uh, the crossword puzzle, um, I saw this headline: "New legislation proposes to take Wall Street out of the housing market." I was like, "Really? That's so interesting." And this kind of um, created a thought in my head that, oh, Wall Street, they are investors. And whenever, it doesn't matter when, whenever investing came up in a family setting, my family, my mom and my dad would always immediately jump to real estate. So that tie was cool. I thought I might include it. Um, yeah, so that's the route I went with. So I would like to give you some insight to what it is. So real estate companies use AI to purchase land, and this is the biggest issue. This is like the WMD that I'm focusing on. Those three companies all implement a model like this, with the addition that Hyro over there also has AI models to actually try and replace the real estate agents, which is kind of funny. Anyways, um, and they use data gathered from public information such as gram rates. So this like, you know, you can find them in the state website. Transportation means light sources, sound disturbance, schools, future development in the entertainment scenes, and dining. They might also use market data and predictive analytics to make informed decisions about rents, occupancy, and concessions. And to add to follow that, obviously these corporations are humongous. Since they can, they do. They add some other features such as they use AI to make data informed deals quick and efficient through their investment platform. And I mentioned scalability just a couple minutes ago. Um, the scales of which these companies buy land is ridiculous. They buy thousands of acres per page purchase. This can be anything from cities or neighborhoods that have not even been built, still jungles, um, or or they can be neighborhoods, actually older neighborhoods in the suburbs of big cities like Atlanta um, and Dallas, right? Um, People are still living there, but these guys just they don't care. Um, I guess I think of it as like they're doing this with a new generation, and that same thing is going to probably happen to that generation when the newer generation comes. Um, I guess it's just important for us. Oh man, I missed that last time as well. It's just important for us to be aware of the situations. Um, So here are some quotes. I think this is quotes are super important. I did a ton of research and found some really good ones to give you a good idea of where we are as a nation and how bad truly the situation is. Um, so quote, in addition, AI software is able to analyze trends and then predictions. They even include neighborhood forecasting, tenant patterns, and predictive maintenance, which is an area that all AI excels in. And in other fields, I don't know why I can't talk. Um, all of this data can help you determine the quality of potential investments' future performance. Um, and then I'd like to mention another quote. Senator Jeff Markley of Oregon, with the helps of Representative Adam Smith of Washington, they presented a bill to stop them. Later on, we're going to go over this website, which actually has the historic um, timeline of all the bills that are supposed to stop these acquisitions, which have failed. Um, Anyways, this reads, you have created a situation where ordinary Americans aren't bidding against other families, they're bidding against billionaires of America for these houses. End quote. That's pretty powerful. Um, I love using to be or not to be, and in this case, it works perfectly. Let's talk about opaqueness. Um, this has been going on under our noses since the 80s. Um, I mean, realistically speaking, investment in the real estate sector has been a thing since before the union. But that's not really necessarily what I'm um, focusing on here. Right now, I'm trying to focus on big investment banking, Wall Street um, companies, um, equity firms, um, hedge funds that have a ton of resources to buy land in the scale I described. Um, Here are some more quotes. I'm sorry. This just to me seemed like the most efficient way to get my point across. And when I looked back on how Miss O'Neill did it, um, she also used quotes like from the teacher test um, model, and that's actually how I created my presentation. So obviously, like most things, there's more. Specifically, when talking about a WMD, it's pretty complex. So corporations backed by private equity groups such as Blackstone and Premium Partners, these guys are the equity firms. That's ridiculous. Um, they play in the billions. They invest in the billions every year, and their return on investment is even crazier, also in the billions. Um, they have bought tens of thousands of homes across the U.S. Sunbelt specifically. Analysts writing at MetLife Investment Management suggest they could control a large market share in housing by 2030. Large institutions owned roughly 5% of the 14 million single family rentals nationally in early 2022. And for reference, at the time of this live recording, we're in December of 2023. I can't even imagine what that number is at this point. There was another thing I wanted to mention, which is um, prices for detached homes have increased faster in the Sunbelt states than the national average. And we're going to get to that right now. Okay. I have another quote from Redfin. These guys are a big um, registry, I want to say. I think that's the best way to put it, for houses uh, that are on sale that you can look at on their app. Um, my mom is on this every night. Um, they say investors bought 18.4% of the US homes that were purchased in the fourth quarter of 2021, a record high. A record high. This is because investor demand is stronger than ever as home prices increase, allowing investors to charge higher rents and sell flipped homes for higher prices. Um, just like what I just covered. Um, Scary. Okay. So now we get to the scary stuff, which is the negative feedback loop. I touched on this a little bit. There's basically, yeah. Let's just head on straight to the quotes. Um, all right. This is where we're gonna stop with all the quotes. So last year, the 5 states who saw the highest percentage of investor purchases: Georgia 33%, Arizona 31%, Nevada 30%, California and Texas both 29%. These investment firms continue diminishing available inventory of houses that may otherwise be obtainable for younger middle class households. So, as we've explored the impact of AI on real estate investments, it's also important to understand what's going on here. So, these investment firms are systematically depleting the available housing inventory, making it increasingly challenging for someone like me. So, I just turned 18. I'm living with my parents, but I'm not going to be living with them forever, right? I'm going to have to move out. And this is it's a scary statistic. Um, this creates a negative feedback loop. Potential buyers find themselves priced out. Goes back to the quote of the Oregon senator saying that they're no longer outbidding or trying to outbid U.S. families, but rather they're outbidding billionaires and um, equity firms backed with billions of dollars worth of investments. Um, Potential buyers find themselves priced out, and soaring rental prices make it difficult for individuals to save enough to enter the market. Um, there it is. I said I specifically wanted to talk about rentals because that's what they're doing with all this land that they're building these neighborhoods on. They're renting them. Um, this is bad because when the rental prices are so high, saving up for a house that makes it pretty difficult. Not to mention the current mortgage rates. I mean, come on, it's like double extra hard for you to find housing. And I say that because when these guys are buying land like at the rate that they do, affordable housing does not get built. It doesn't. I did not include it here, but in San Francisco, it took 17 years to build 5 affordable housing buildings, apartments. That's ridiculous. Um, this cycle just makes the housing crisis worse than it is and raises ethical questions about long term consequences of AI driven investment decisions. Um, I mean, like, why aren't they investing in North Dakota, right? Because AI is telling them not to. Okay, interactive map. I'm excited to do this. um, how are we doing on time here? 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm sorry. I promise I'd. Okay, we're gonna be fast with this. So here's Atlanta. Let's go over the what is this called again? I'm totally blanking out. I've been working on this for like a couple hours. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna try to remember the term of this. It's like it. I know it. Anyways, darker equates to larger shares of purchased home by investors. This is the city of Atlanta. We see that a lot of the suburbs are like this, and um, investors have increasingly bought in black neighborhoods. They are targeting minority communities. What WMDs? It's yet another trait of WMD. Um, very very annoying. Just reading about this. Um, Here's some more. Yeah, highest shares of purchased home. These are the cities, and we can go look at some other ones. Um, Wait, do we really have to make it in 4 minutes? Because it seems impossible. Okay. Um, let's go Seattle. Where'd it go? Okay. So not much here, but what was I checked this like earlier. What was super interesting was Medina here. Um, a ridiculous amount of investor homes being bought out here. This is a very like I don't know. Um, it's a rich neighborhood, so I was interested to find out that investors were purchasing homes here because usually what they do is they go out, in the suburbs, like Snoqualmie where I live, and purchase lands there because it's cheaper. Let's go to Chicago. Um, yeah, I mean, again, downtown. There's a lot like in downtown, yes, but southern by the border of Indiana. Um, this is Gary, where Michael Jackson was born. Um, let's do one more. I want to go in the Sun Belt. Yeah, we Sun Belt. Let's. Uh, we could do Florida, but um, I really don't want to do Florida because that's Detroit, Michigan. There we go. Oh my gosh, 69%. So as you can see, this is out of hand. um, this is crazy. Um, I is invite the right word? I don't, because I'm done. Um, I invite you, or I invite all my viewers who are watching this recording to, take a second when voting time comes. Try to see if legislation on this topic is a thing in your state. Um, you know, this is something that only we as a society as a whole can stop. You know, and yeah, let's move on. Here are my references. I did not mention this, but unfortunately, I had a thumbnail and my reference sheet. I was supposed to put them in the description, but YouTube didn't allow me because I needed to do an ID, a validation of my ID, which was going to take one day. Um, so I'll be just submitting that extra piece um, in Canvas. And gracias for watching my presentations. I hope you liked it. I am so sorry. It looks like I went over time by a ton. But yeah. Take care. Have a good holiday break. Bye bye.